What's up, guys? I'm back. I'm back. Back with another video. I wanted to do this update here and kind of let you guys know what I was up to and what was going on in my head. Right now, uh, I ran across some interesting characters at work. And seeing as how, in my case, rent isn't overwhelmingly expensive, but for what I'm paying, the service isn't up to par. And I noticed that as a trend throughout all the uh, all the renters in my area. I live in Maryland, so it's pretty much the same situation all over the place. It's just you're paying, you know, close to $2,000 for a two-bedroom apartment, and you're getting subpar service. As for my case, the the service in my apartment isn't really all that great. Uh, there has been many things that have been unattended to since I actually moved in. You know, stuff like leaks, uh, literal holes in the walls, the fire alarm going off at any given hour during the day, even though there's not really any fire going on. It's pretty annoying. So what I've been convinced into pursuing is uh, taking up the van life. Let me fix this up here real quick. That's better. Taking up the van life, um, meaning that uh, I would consolidate all of my belongings into an area that would fit into the size of a transporter van. And by doing so, I could live out on the road and pretty much save money by not paying rent. And hopefully, I would, attain work comparable to the work that I'm doing now. I earn about $2,400 a month. So if I could just live in a van and just allocate all those expenses, I could save up a lot of money at one point, and then I could move on to bigger plans if I chose to. But being that as in May, there's a one concept that's been running around in my mind recently, and that is, well, I've worked with a plethora of older people throughout my working career, and you know, when I have one-on-one time with them, they give out pretty useful advice. But what I find is that, and the fact of the matter is that they do see how the technology that's been implemented over the course of my younger life up until now, how that has affected the sociological proficiency of us younger people in terms of dating, in terms of socializing in general, in terms of pretty much our way of life. So, uh, in my experience, they give out very good advice, but my problem with that is the provision aspect as to how they allow these technologies to come into the forefront. And by technologies, I mean things like the smartphone, things that have radically changed the way we developed from young people into supposedly healthy adults. Um, so it's like, wouldn't it be the responsibility of the generation that currently has the most power in a given society to regulate how these technologies are implemented and distributed so that it doesn't affect the well-being of their offspring, so that they can develop in a similar fashion that they did? So, even so far as like, speaking to these older people in terms of like the issue, the unique issues that we go through that inhibit our progress into adulthood. Uh, because as for me, in terms of like the hindsight that I've developed, going into my late 20s, I'm 28 right now. If I had a kid, if I had children, knowing what I know now, I would very much limit what sort of conveniences they were to be involved with, so that their development into adolescence and adulthood isn't compromised by these conveniences, and so that they have a more proficient, more grassroots, more natural, real world approach to the way they interact with people, the way they solve problems. Now, this is considering the fact that I very much am happy that I have been exposed to these technological innovations, in terms of like my fascination with the fact that they exist in the first place. I have a gaming PC. I have a gaming PC solely due to the fact that I'm passionate about the technology, as to how it can display alternate worlds in my monitor, so that I can experience very unique things relative to what my forefathers have. But I can't help but wonder, if I was a father, what approach I would take in terms of ensuring that my offspring developed in the most proficient manner, so that even if they were exposed to these technologies at a later period in their developmental years, they would still have sufficient uh, social skills, sufficient levels of focus. Because I'm sure we've all heard that uh, the implementation of instant information, instant knowledge, instant gratification has compromised our ability to focus for extended periods of time. So it's sort of a catch-22 in that regards. It's sort of a philosophical concept I wanted to put out there. Let me know what you guys think. This is just a brief sort of catch-up video. I don't think I've been on in like 5 months, so, and I really need to kind of learn to sort of keep looking at the camera, make it more intimate. So, perhaps I'll come up with more ideas for videos in the future.